Hey guys, I just finished this project and I decided to share this video with all of you, and hopefully this video will give you confidence to make your very own fence project. So anyways, let's take a closer look at how much work is actually involved here. So here we have some pictures of the fence before I demolished it, and I wasn't planning on posting a video about it, but since my previous video got well over 1,000 views, I decided to upload this project as well. I'm guessing this old fence was at least 20 years old and it was time to replace it with brand new, solid and groovy looking fence. So I removed all the picket boards and ran a nylon masonry line string from the house to the corner of the fence. Whoever did this fence before obviously wasn't a perfectionist. Since my old posts were not in a straight line, I chose to dig in different spots instead of digging out my old posts. Digging definitely takes all the fun out of this project, but I have a trusty life hack that's going to speed up this process. This homemade drill bit helped me drill through dry layers of ground soil like a champ. Who needs heavy-duty expensive equipment when you can make your very own bootleg auger for a fraction of the cost? So once I was done with all the holes, it was time to get some heavy metal. In comparison to last year, the prices on metal and lumber went up so much this year that I couldn't believe my lying eyes. This time I ended up spending almost 3 times as much on this project than my previous project. So in other words, if you're not in a hurry, I would wait, but if you have to do this project this year, then I guess get her done. So last time we did this project, I forgot to mention that we usually mix a little bit of cement. We put it at the bottom of the hole. We take the post and we just set it inside the cement, and that's gonna seal the hole at the bottom. This little string is gonna be our guide. It just guides us so that the posts are gonna be nice and straight, in a straight line, and then just level it out, and that's it. Some parts of California gets really hot around summertime, so the weather was getting really toasty and I was sweating my tail off while working on this project. Fortunately, I had some shade from the trees. When working on these types of projects, make sure your posts are not vertically challenged or lopsided, or else you'll have issues with fabrication measurements. So now that these posts are in, let's go figure out how to attach my last post to the house. This video is not sponsored in any way, shape or form by this company, so the only reason why I mentioned this welding extension cord is because I couldn't have done without it. I had 25 feet, but it wasn't enough because I needed a total of 75 feet. So before starting any work, be sure to check if you have enough extension cord from your outlet to your project. Alright, so moving on to my last post. So far I've been lucky enough that I didn't have to do any concrete demolition, and I wasn't about to tear up my walkway just to get that post cemented right next to the house. So I came up with much easier and simpler way of attaching this post to the house. Using these C-shaped anchors, I'm basically going to drill like 3 holes, and I'm going to attach them to the house. One's going to be at the top, the other one's going to be at the bottom. And then I'm gonna weld maybe like in 3 spots, and that's it, and it's gonna attach the post to the house. And my lovely assistant is gonna help me figure out where the post is supposed to be. We'll make sure it's nice and level. It looks pretty good. So now that the post is nice and level with the house, we're gonna draw a line, and that's where the anchor is gonna go. Alright, so I already pre-drilled the holes in my anchor plates, and I guess this is like the best thing that I could come up with. I basically attached my plates to the rectangular tubing, and now I'm gonna mark the spots where I'm gonna drill. I'm gonna set it like so. Make sure it's nice and straight. And then I'm just gonna mark my holes where I'm gonna drill. Yeah, like that. Good enough. And that's where we're gonna drill our holes. So the reason why I'm drilling too close to the edge is because there's a 2x4 in here, and if I go in the middle, it's going to be empty space. There's nothing there. Alright, so I'll be using a 3.5-inch screws to attach the plates to the house. Man, this thing's already holding pretty strong. Then I'm just gonna tighten it and we'll be good to go. Let's do that bottom plate. Feels pretty solid.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
And I know what you're thinking, why would I weld this post to the house? I'm not planning on removing this post anytime soon, and even if I do need to remove it, I'm just gonna cut the welds and detach it. Boom, that easy. Now that I'm done with all the posts, let's move on to the swing gate. As always, I've managed to do this job with bare minimum amount of tools. Once I learned how to make those perfect cuts with my angle grinder, it was a game changer, and now I'll need one less fancy tool to buy. Without the actual welding table, it's kind of challenging to get that perfect 90-degree angle. So what I do is I use corner clamps to secure my workpiece and then start tack welding on the outside corners and then move on to the inner corners to prevent warping and heat distortion. Alright, so moving on to these flat horizontal support braces. They will serve two purposes. Main purpose is to prevent this gate from sagging and bending from all that extra weight of the boards, resulting in a rigid and much stronger frame. Secondly, all the picket boards will be attached to these support braces. I've picked up these 7-inch heavy-duty bullet hinges at my local hardware store for like around $8 each. V-shaped flanges allow for ease of weld-on installation, and they come with this brass washer that allows smooth and continuous operation. There's also a grease fitting at the top of the hinge that allows you to apply additional lubrication as needed. I've used two flat bars as spacers to create enough of a gap to insert the pointy side of the hinge into the gap. I'll be using these magnetic welding holders to hold my flat strips at 90-degree angle. While I was working, I had an unexpected spectator who was just chilling there watching me weld. No wonder these big brain birds are favorite snack for our local cats. So here's how my latch looks. You can put a lock through it. It's a very simple design, but it's very effective. Don't forget to lubricate your hinges before you start painting the fence. Here's some supplies to wrap up this project. Here we have mineral spirits to clean up the metal, and I'll be using these heavy duty gloves for that. Then I'll use gray primer to prevent any rust, and finally a gloss black oil based paint to seal the deal. This time I decided to use a roller to apply primer and paint instead of air sprayer, and I gotta tell ya, paint job went a lot smoother and cleaner. And finally I'll be using redwood stain and sealer number 4630 to preserve and enhance that wood finish. You can find these disposable drill bits on Amazon for under 20 bucks, and if they break or get dull, just toss it and get a new one. Even though these deck-made screws are specifically designed for wood-to-wood applications, they worked great in my previous wood-to-metal project without stripping, so I decided to use them for this project as well. So I made this 3.5 inch spacer, and basically I measured the top and the bottom and leave that 3.5 inch gap, and then this board is gonna go on top of here like so. Well guys, here's how the final product looks like. So my wife did all the landscaping, and she made both sides of the fence look really nice and neat with all that red mulch. There's no handle on the other side of this gate because we're going to be using it very rarely, maybe like once in a blue moon, and mostly it'll be opened from the inside. So let's go check out the front yard and see what it looks like. Alright, so what we ended up with is approximately 30 feet of fencing, and each section comes with 20 picket boards, so that's times 4. Well guys, that's it for this project, and if you liked it, give me a thumbs up, and if you didn't like it, leave a comment, help me improve on my future projects. So anyway, smash that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching.